morning we had not necessarily the most restful night's sleep parked in this car park because we've just been hit by the storm. This is the location of last night's stay. It's quite a nice setting for a Shell garage. And look, we're near the air, so we can always limp over. But I know the question on your minds is the tyre flat? Well, I can report that the tyre is pretty flat. About as flat as it gets, really. I don't think there's much life in that one. I don't think there's much going back for it. So we have three options. Number one, we could go and fill it up with air from here and hope it holds as we go and find a tyre shop. And there are a few nearby, however, they all seem to open on Monday morning, which is not great. Option number two is we call the RAC. So obviously we're not completely thick, you know. Thought something like this might happen. So if we were going to drive all of this way, we made sure we got the best policy we possibly could find, and we've got pretty good coverage, and they should come and fix it. If things go really wrong, they'll take the van all the way back home to England. So that's our sort of get out of jail card should it come to it. But both of those, you will notice on top of this rather sad sight, look how sad this looks. You'll notice on top, salvation. We have a tyre with us. So, let's see if we can work it out. This must be the right thing to do because the sun has just come out as I suggested. So, welcome to our cab. Everyone knows the first step of anything like this is to find the equipment that we need. So hopefully under here. Look at this. So what have we got? A jack. That's a good starting place. I guess the Americans would call these tire irons. One. Yes, we've got absolutely everything here. Okay, so I'm guessing these form part of the jack. We'll need this. Got a screwdriver. That's clever, isn't it? Got a screwdriver that you can swap the ends out of. Got a spanner. Got a little towing eye thing. But I think this is probably what we'll need. Okay, welcome to the top deck, and here is our tyre. So you can see a beautiful curated roof of the van, which doesn't leak at all, except for certain circumstances. But step two, now that we've found the things that we need to get it on, is getting this thing down. Let's get some slack in it, see if we can work around the mechanism. That's a good start. Can you pass me a knife, please, Harry?
A knife?
Yeah. Yes, please. I've got my helper. Thank you. So, always cut away from you. Thanks, Harry. And then, let's see if we can release this now. And just like that, the clip is released. Harry, passing this down. Okay. Now we just need to work out how to actually get this down. Oh dear. So just inspecting our spare tyre. Is that meant to be there? Doesn't really feel like that's meant to be there. Can't really think of many other ways of getting this down. Drop it. Okay, I'm slightly concerned about this, so let's go and take it over to here and see what happens. We don't need it to get us home, obviously, but it would be good if it could get us just a couple of days until these tyre shops are all open. Cap back on, and then roll it back. Prophetic fallacy, it's just started raining as we test this, so I'm pretty concerned about this, but I'm also confused as to why spare tyre would be here. Granted, deflated, but if it had this, and you'll remember perhaps from, this is from my bicycle proficiency, probably in primary school. How do you find a leak on a tyre? Or you can listen for the hiss, or you can put water on it and see if you can see the air bubbles escaping. And you know what, I'm not saying any air bubbles escaping, because that one is definitely not working. Okay, so first step of changing a wheel is, let's see if we can get this hubcap off. There we go, let's get that out of the way. And we can see the nuts here, the locking nuts. So these will be pretty tight. So I'm going to try and loosen them off with this. Very tight. I've broken the wrench. Quick update on progress or lack thereof. There is a nut. This is absolutely fused. It broke this, which is never good. Some man has kindly lent me this, but it's just started to bend. Success after, look at this. We are back on the road. Let's hope this one actually works, because we are now slightly buggered. So it's certainly looking better than the last one we had on. Update, we've driven 5 minutes down the road and it's still inflated, and we've come here to Biltmore. So our friends recommended this place. It's like Halfords on steroids. And of course, RIP to this, the locking nut thing, the tyre iron. So seeing as we've got a slightly precarious spare tyre on and we don't really know what's going to happen, I better get a replacement quick in case we can change it over for something else. I don't know what, but who knows. This place is amazing. It's enormous. It's like B&Q but for car stuff. It's about 5 times bigger than any Halfords I've been to. This is what I needed, look. Would have made short work. A proper jack. Aha, here we go. This is what I'm looking for. One of these. Actually, maybe this is more like it, a wheel nut wrench. It's even got a nice cushioned handle. Having snapped the tyre iron previously, I thought I'd get not 1, but 2, just in case. Prepared this time. Right, now we're going to tyre willing. We're going to head back on the E6, try and get up to the Arctic Circle. We could be the first people who have ever crossed into the Arctic Circle having just installed a tyre that we know has a nail in it, which is a pretty dubious claim to fame. Well done, Bill. Welcome back to Tyre Watch. So we've been driving for an hour now. We've got to Merirana. I don't think I pronounced that correctly, but it's the closest I'm going to get. And it's looking pretty good. Significantly better than its predecessor. Slightly against the odds. The Arctic Circle Centre, clearly it's a popular stop off as people drive past. And there's a sign down at the bottom saying, the building of stone cairns is prohibited. I think people may have ignored it. There are thousands of them, absolutely thousands of them. It's really quite strange. Up until only 15-20 minutes ago, we were driving through forest and trees and it looked like autumn. And as soon as we got to the edge of the Arctic Circle, we find this sort of tundral landscape, completely barren. Nothing here at all except for a few wisps, grasses and a bit of heather. That's about the tallest tree. And it's just so different. And it was almost like crossing a boundary, an invisible, imperceptible boundary. It's no wonder that this place has been a sort of spiritual kind of place for thousands of years, why it's had such significance. Because it is an ethereal, haunting, vacuous beauty to it. It's empty. Empty that is, apart from a beautiful herd of reindeer just going about their daily lives, completely unaware of the fact that they're somewhere quite remarkable. We would have liked to have stayed here a bit longer, but after the debacle with the tyre this morning or last night, we've got a ferry to catch in Buda, which is still another 2.5 hours drive away from here. So we don't really want to miss it. We'll quickly have a look around this Arctic Circle centre, and then I think we better get back on the road, back on the E6, and carry on heading north towards Buda and see what we see along the way. But this is the road we have to the north. This is the gift shop at the Arctic Circle, where you can buy everything you could possibly want. I have crossed the Arctic Circle, says this reindeer. No one will believe me otherwise. Look, there's an extraordinary amount of tat available in here. And the best thing about it, they got Taylor Swift playing. Sadly, there aren't any polar bears left on continental Norway. They're all on Svalbard. And we've seen a few reasons as to why that might be the case. Well, we've defied the odds and we've made it to, well, I'd call it Bodo, but my friend this morning who helped with the puncture calls it Buda, and he's Norwegian, so I defer to his pronunciation really. And it's not quite as picturesque as some of the towns and cities we've been through on the way, but we're not here to explore, we're here to take a ferry over there somewhere. We've got about 2 hours before our ferry to Moskines, which is the port on the Fosen, actually leaves. It's a bit more expensive, this one, so most of the ferries we've taken so far are sort of 20, 30 pounds, something like that. This one's about 150, but it takes 3 hours, and obviously it's a far more significant journey from the mainland here over to the Fosen. Bonja. So now that we've made it to Buda, let's do another check. Hey, look at this, it's doing pretty well. It looks good. All of these are free to use. So that's what we like to see. Must work. Look at that, 3 bars. Bye, Bodo.
Bye, Bodo.
Buda.
Probably not go back in. So
Fully loaded, and these poor people look like they've got to wait until 3:15 a.m. $400. How are you feeling?
Well, I was feeling better, but I might have to go back outside.
Oh, that's the sun.
For what's my money? A few pounds house. Oh, it's so funny. You got a fishing rod.
It's pretty, isn't it?
Shall we leave here? Well, what a day. We started it with a flat tyre and our spare tyre with a screw in it, which then broke the tyre iron whilst trying to fit it. The jack wouldn't fit underneath the van, and we were still at that point 4 and a bit hours from Ardua, where we got the ferry, or we're meant to get the ferry over to Lofoten. So all in all, it wasn't the most inspiring start to the day. Against all odds, we made it. We made it to Lofoten. It was a pretty gnarly crossing, I must admit. It was very choppy on that North Sea. But wow, genuinely wow, this is an extraordinary place. We can tell that from 15 minutes driving to where we've parked up for tonight. So I'm exhausted, going to bed, and